just with new ideas. You don't see that now. That's why you have all of these things that you have, these movies coming out, Rocky IV, Rocky V, Rocky 2000. Because they have no more ideas. See, the idea of Rocky was for the European once again to beat Muhammad Ali. That was the image of Rocky. That's why it was so popular. Because when you look at it, Rocky wasn't really that great a film. And it wasn't made that good either. And it was made from an actor that really wasn't a good actor. But what did he have? He had a dream that all folk have, and they wanted to see Muhammad Ali knocked down. That's why Rocky became such a great film. But you see, it was only a figment of their imagination, because not one of them has ever become heavyweight champion again. So we're living in a society that the reason why it's not going forward, one of the finest films that has been made, that has made us think, since Malcolm X, was Bamboozled. There have been other films now. I'm not talking about the films that have come from other countries, other nations. I'm talking about the ones that have been put in front of us to look at. In terms of creativity, using that camera in ways that cameras are not used. They don't have good ideas. All they can do is play with that computer. And why? Because the computer is something that they can physically manipulate. So it becomes something that they become good at. But even they did not create the computer, because I've seen pictures of sisters in ancient Kemet sitting before what would be a computer board. The whole idea of chess came from Senate, came from a strategy. The whole ideas of worry came out of, you know, the 12 nights, the 12 hours during death of the ancient Kemites. That came out of, that's where the game comes from. That's where the whole concept of a dozen comes from. It comes from ancient Kemet and the 12 hours of the night, and the ability to move each stage of your, let's say, your movement in death, going to the underworld, coming to each gate, to each door, you've got to have a special word. And having that special word, knowing that, means that you can move to the next gate or the next door. Well, all of that came out of games. That it came back and forth. The game was created to celebrate that idea of the 12 hours of the night, of death. So you have worry. You have the whole idea of buying things by 12. The whole idea of the apostles, 12, with Christ being the 13th. That's why 13, that's why they make you afraid, or try to make you afraid of the number 13. Because number 13 to African folk is a sacred number. It's a very important number. And you know I'm into panthers, so you know how I feel about that black cat crossing my path. I'm looking for the black cat cross my path. These are the images that they've given us. This is the illusion that we're living under. And as long as they can, you know, there's a brother Wade Nobles, Dr. Wade Nobles in California, that says that power is the ability to define someone's reality and have that person accept that definition. We're living under conditions where they have given us an illusion, and we have bought into the illusion, and we believe this illusion. We are living this illusion. And you know, even though something is an illusion, if you accept it, it becomes a reality.
Yes, sir.
Even though it's an illusion. It is your reality. So you create out of something that does not exist, something that does exist, because you create a life system that goes according to that illusion. So therefore, it's no longer an illusion. And this is what we're facing as a people. We are a mighty people, brothers and sisters. When you look at our history and you look at what we've been through, what they did to us, there's no reason why we should be here. There's no reason why we should be able to function intelligently as we're functioning. We're not supposed to be here. We are supposed to be back in Africa. We are supposed to be stark raving mad, or we are to be dead. But we are not meant to be in a room like this making sense with each other. We are not meant to be here being able to give each other money in terms of our trade. We should have been so bamboozled that we don't even know who we are. Yet not only do we know who we are, but we have embraced our past, realizing that it's not so much that it is to build new pyramids, it is to take the concepts of the brilliance that built the pyramids and move into the 21st century. Because our ancestors did the pyramids so well, we don't have to redo pyramids. That's not the purpose of the pyramids. The pyramids have served their purpose. They went on to building temples. The temples served their purpose. What is next now? And this is the story that we've come upon, because I've often said that you cannot understand the predicament that we find ourselves in today if you do not understand what happened in 1492, October 1492. You cannot understand what happened in October of 1492 if you don't understand what happened on January 2nd, 1492, the day that Boabdil was expelled from Granada, the last finest leader of Spain. Spain, Europe has not been the same. In fact, they have been devolving since the Moors were expelled from Spain. Nothing new has come out of Europe since that time. You can't understand what happened in January 2nd, 1492 if you don't understand what happened in July of 710 when the Moors first came in to Europe. You can't understand what happened, why the Moors would be there, if you don't understand the fundamental principle of what happened during the Byzantine Empire, during the Roman Empire, during the Greek Empire, and what the Greeks got from the Chemites. So you can see that from what I've outlined to you moving backwards, if you understand what happened in the past, you can understand the present. If you can understand the pattern from the past to the present, you then just apply the pattern like a mathematical equation to your present, and you can project your future. What they are hoping is that we don't get this formula together, that we don't see this pattern that has happened. Whenever you see any greatness, whenever you see any movement, including the hip-hop nation, we're behind. The only reason why they have any kind of massive economy today is because it was built on our backs. And it's built on our young people's back in the hip-hop nation. Because that's what's channeling their young people today, is the hip-hop nation. Their children would have nothing if it wasn't for us. And then when you look at what's happening in the educational system, and you look at what's happening in the prison system, they're still getting over on us. They're still playing us. Our young people don't understand. Our young people, I work with them. I work for the Board of Ed in the Bronx. District 9 in the Bronx, South Central Bronx. And I'm with our children every day. I purposely moved my center from the district office, which is adult bound, to a junior high school, which was a junior high school that they said really was the most troubled. The reason why I moved it there was because I felt that if all that I was saying, because I have a mouth, and if all that I say about culture and our children is correct, I wanted to go where it was the most challenged. Because if it could work there, it can work anywhere. Because there are some children in some of our schools, they don't need me. They're on the path already. All they need me for is just to check in with me every so often to make sure everything's all right with me. But they're all right. A good student doesn't need a teacher. Needs a facilitator just to keep them moving. But students who have that challenge, that need someone there, this is the school that I chose to go into. And I'm telling you, as sure can be, our children are absolutely wonderful. Do I like some of the things I hear? No, I don't like some of the things I hear. Of course I don't. But it's the society that makes them conduct themselves that way. It's the society that gave them that N-word. We hear our young people on the bus. I mean, sometimes I'm on the bus and I hear them use that N-word. They use that word, so they use that word N like I use the word brother and sister. I've heard them use that B word on our sisters as if they're calling that sister their lover. They use that B word like it's a term of endearment. I love you, you sweet. They're not using it in the sense that that B word means to us. The context of that word isn't what it means to us. But when we hear it because of our context, it sends shivers up my spine. Even to this day, that N-word is unacceptable to me. But to them, like Dick Gregory said when he wrote that book, named it that, he said he wanted to use that word so much that it wouldn't have any meaning anymore. Well, to the new generation that embraced that word, he was right. But to the older generation that lived through it, he was wrong. Because that N-word still sends shivers up my spine. Because I know what we've gone through with that word. I know that B word. I know them calling our women that B word on the plantation. See, our young people may not remember that because that bridge to history may not be there for them, but it's there for me. It's there for you, because I can see some of you agreeing with me. So I know that that B word and that N word, it means something to us. It's a curse on us. It's a word that we should never use. But nonetheless, it has been used. It's been used around our children.